everyone. Hi everyone, and welcome to the AI data and generative AI track of ReTech Disrupt. I'm Yael Kochman. I'm the founder of ReTech, and I'll be your host for today's event. So today's event is obviously about data and AI. Can you guess how many AI-related startups do we have in Israel today? So just to give you the context, Israel is a very small country. We only have about 8 million people, and we have currently less than 8,000 active startups overall. The number of startups that are related to AI is actually 1,441 startups. So that's about a quarter of all the active startups in Israel. If you add to that also startups that are in data, computer vision, machine learning, you get to around 30% of all active startups. This is how huge AI is. But I want to break some myths about AI today. In the past year or so, AI has been one of the key topics in every living room conversation. But AI is actually not a new technology. It's been around since the 50s. And all the startups that we have today on the call can tell you that they've been working on AI-related technologies for years now. The second myth is that AI can do anything. Well, not really, at least not yet. If you give it a messy database with different tables, different lines, different everything, it will not magically turn it into actionable business insight. The third myth is that AI is going to replace all human employees. Well, we're in retail. We know that maybe this is, maybe in 50 years from now, this could be possible. But for now, we still need someone to put the products on the shelves, to welcome people into stores, and to help them buy what they need. And the last one is that AI is only about prompts and chatbots. In the last year, I've been going to a lot of retail conferences, and whenever there is a panel or a session about AI, they only talk about prompts, and obviously it's part of it, but we will hear today from our amazing speakers about some of the incredible things they're doing with AI that are just much more than that. So before we start, just a little bit about ReTech. For those of you who are less familiar, ReTech is the largest community for tech startups, brands, and investors who are interested in the intersection of retail technology and innovation. We are based in Israel, but with a global reach. We've been working with retailers and brands all around the world for 11 years now. We actually started in May 2013, so this is our 11th birthday. We held more than 50 events so far. Most of them have been physical events, but we do run online events as well. As you can see, we have more than 500 startups and tech companies in our community and thousands of members. While I have your attention, I want to share a few opportunities for the startups and for the retailers and brands on the call today. The first opportunity is our top 100 ReTech startups, which is a new initiative we're doing to basically share basically about all the amazing retail technology startups in Israel. In order to do that, we ask all the startups to apply using this link or this QR code. You can apply by June 1st. And we actually have a committee of brands, retailers, investors, and industry leaders who are going to evaluate all the applications. And on the next event on July 16, we will announce the winners of the top 100. Other than that, some conferences around the world. So in just 2 weeks, we're going to be at ShopTalk Europe. For the startups on the call, we're offering discounted tickets and a shared meeting room space at the event. For the retailers and brands, we have just a few spots left for the retailers and brands dinner hosted by Rethink Retail. Another big event is The Lead in New York, taking place in July, where we're also offering discounted sponsorship opportunities and an exclusive opportunity to join the AI in Retail pavilion at the event. Last but not least, for the retailers and brands on the call, the Global Retail Leaders Community by Rethink Retail is the largest community for director level and up executives at retail companies and brands. It's an amazing community that runs dinners, events, networking sessions, and a lot of other benefits. So if any of the opportunities I spoke about is relevant, you can reach out after the event. And let's start today's event. So First of all, I'd like to really thank all of our speakers, and I'm happy to have amazing speakers with us today from both retail companies, brands, and great startups who will share from their knowledge and experience. I also want to thank our sponsors. Without you guys, this wouldn't have been possible, and you've all been amazing partners along the way. Who is on the audience today? So we actually have more than 50% of our audience today are retailers and brands, and about 30% are startups and tech companies. We have people joining us from all over the world, from the US, from Europe, obviously from Israel as well, and also from countries like India, Turkey, and pretty much everywhere. A quick run through of today's agenda. So in 1 minute, we will start with the first panel, AI for revolutionizing customer experiences. We will then move to the first keynote and hear from Tomer Zucker about AI-powered digital avatars. We will move on to the second panel, AI for operational excellence, and then the second keynote from Adi Lev about how Flipkart is implementing AI solutions across the customer journey. And Adi will also share some opportunities for startups, so stay tuned. And after the first part, retailers, brands, and sponsors are welcome to stay for the roundtable discussions and the one-to-one meetings. That's it from me. Let's dive right into it and get to the first panel.
Welcome, everyone. It's an honor to be here today, joining you from New York City. And I am looking forward to all that we're going to discuss this morning. We will be tackling the customer experience with AI, and I have a great group with me to really share their experiences, what they're seeing at their companies, and how they're actually implementing. So without further ado, I'm going to jump right in with our guests, and I'm here with Yana, Mirko, and Yaron. Yana, I'm going to start with you. Question: how is AI being employed at Walmart?
Hi, first, thanks so much for having me. I'm so excited to have this conversation with you guys today. It's a very broad question. I think it's applied everywhere. We are people-led, tech-enabled organization, and following this philosophy, we are applying emerging tech across all different lines of business that we have. I will focus on the customer. Obviously, we have technology, associate-facing, fulfillment centers, logistics. It's a huge operation to run. But if you really focus on the customer, being people-led and putting the customer in the center, AI allows us to solve for customer problems in new ways. I'll call out a couple of things that we are leading with and were announced in this year CES by our leadership. First and foremost, you can see some really interesting emerging experiences like Gen AI-powered search. If you think about customers, they come to us with missions. They come with some jobs to be done. And if I'm a mother and I'm planning a birthday party for my son, I'm not coming to you with, oh, I just want this disposable plates, Spider-Man themed. I'm actually in my head like, oh, I have so many things to buy. So today, using Gen AI, I can just go on search and help me plan a Spider-Man themed party for 6 years old. And I get the list of everything I need, which is an amazing experience. You're basically taking this cognitive load of thinking about what is it that you need to do and what is that you need to get that job done from our customers. So it's solving existing problems in a completely new way. We will see how the customer experience overall evolves as Gen AI becomes part of our day-to-day life. It's something very interesting to watch, how we will think about meeting our customers where they are in new and interesting ways. One of the other things that we do on the predictive AI side of things is really thinking, what is it that our customers need next? A lot of busy families in America rely on us for their grocery shopping. And we are proactively thinking how to make that process easier for them. And one of the things that we are launching this year is a pilot for auto-replenishment to your house of things that we know that you need with zero effort from a customer perspective. So we're really thinking, we know what is it that you buy, we know that what frequency you buy, we can predict what you need this week. And again, it's an exciting experience that can be enabled with some of the predictive AI technologies that we have.
So what you're employing now in terms of AI, are you building these platforms, or are you actually looking to some of the vendors to provide the platforms for you?
I would say it's a decision or point in time of what we are trying to do. It's a combination of things. I mean, there are situations like we have examples of some acquisitions from Israel of ReTech. A lot of interesting technologies like coming from different startups. And if you have something that's great and available, why would you build? But understanding that we serve a lot of customers across United States and beyond, and we want to make sure that we focus on their needs in meaningful ways, actually drives us to build a lot of things ourselves so we can scale and we can apply it across different markets too.
So if there are any vendors that are on the call today, they should or should not call you with their AI platform.
They may, absolutely. I'm very in touch with Israeli tech community, always learning about new things that are coming up.
All right, good answer. Mirko, how is AI being used in the supermarket business?
What I want to mention, I think, two areas. One, which was also stressed by Anna, is obviously supply chain. I mean, when you go to a grocery retail, you expect that everything you want to buy is on the shelves. So this means that we really have to take care that we always offer the products our customers are looking for, and therefore we're using obviously AI for ordering in the store, but also ordering in the warehouse. And doing so at the same time, try to reduce waste as much as possible, because obviously we want to be always on stock. But on the other side, of course, we do want to avoid write-offs at all. And the second area, I think, which was also mentioned already, is anything around the customer. And when I talk about the customer, it means customer in the store. So anything around the checkout experience, where we try to leverage AI to make the checkout experience smoother, like food and vegetable recognition, age verification, obviously also fraud prevention technology, but also customer service in terms of what DL mentioned, the almost traditional chatbot and 24-hour voice bot, which really helps us, especially in Europe, to offer 7 days a week customer service, which we'll not be able to do without AI.
I'm hearing that search from both you and also Yana, and we'll get to your own in a second, but search is a critical part of AI, being able to simplify the process and or connect the customer with exactly what they're looking for, regardless of almost how they're describing it. I can see that being very important, obviously, in Walmart and also in the grocery business. Mirko, I have a question for you. In the States, I'm hearing a lot about companies moving away from self-checkout relative to all of the theft that's actually now being associated with it. What are you doing, or what type of AI are you using to preclude this at your self-checkouts in the supermarket?
Yeah. So at our brands, it really depends on the country. I mean, there are countries like the UK where we operate self-checkouts already for several years. There are other countries like Germany where we just started to roll out self-checkout. Obviously, fraud is a big topic when you deploy self-check into your stores, and you really have to take care. I mean, we closely follow the developments in other countries and with other retailers, and obviously it is a challenge, especially a store-specific challenge. And what we really leverage is things like a fraud prevention at the self-checkout, but also kind of predictive fraud prevention in the store. So to really figure out what could be the next best action, because also obviously a lot of the fraud is not intentionally, but from a retailer perspective, we have to admit that a lot of the UIs at the self-checkout terminals are not very intuitive. So sometimes the customer isn't really able to behave properly. So this is also a reason, or this is also a challenge we have to take care of, to make the checkout experience so easy and so convenient that the customer is not really able to make any kind of mistake.
At this point, are you moving forward with self-checkout in stores that you're opening?
Yes, we do.
Got it. Yaron, how is AI being used at Triumph? What are you finding? Where are you making a difference for the customer?
Mentioning the customer is really good starting point for us, because as a maker of lingerie, customer centricity is almost an obsession for us, and has been so throughout the long history of the company. Lately, when it comes to AI and e-commerce, we're deploying various solutions across the entire marketing mix, really the famous 5 Ps. So when we talk about product, we use predictive analytics in the way the product is presented to different customer groups, trying to personalize the web experience. We also try to engage people more through tailored customer journeys in our CRM system. We try to improve the shopping environment, specifically online, by using dynamic content generation, and enhance the customer experience when they visit us, so everyone can have an individual place and space where they feel good. We also try to incorporate people's opinion in social proof, specifically when it comes to dynamically creating product descriptions. For example, we might offer a bra that has strong support and is designed to do so, but we get a lot of reviews that the closure in the back is very functional and easy to operate. So we might have systems in place, and it's not in place right now, but we're working on putting it in place, that would enable us to integrate automatically such comments in the product descriptions, and also in the future, not right now, unfortunately, into the search. We try working on omni-channel capabilities to empower clienteling, at least at some of our retail locations. And then, of course, when it comes to promotion, we use AI for our analytics and campaign effectiveness, A/B testing, and so on. And closing the loop on price, really dynamic pricing is another area that we're playing around with, trying to streamline the highest efficiency and the best possible deals for our consumers on the platform.
Yaron, are you building these platforms, or are these platforms coming from the market?
Well, it's a bit of a build, buy, and assemble mix. We have a large bought suite that comes with a lot of out-of-the-box features. Many of them are customized to some extent. And then here and there are some interesting elements that we buy, and where we also work with startups from various parts of the world, including Israel, that we help to implement and to make the entire experience as seamless as possible.
Are there any platforms that any of you could share with us that you're using, that you have bought, obviously not built, that might be helpful to others? Don't be bashful.
It really depends on what you're looking for, but it's probably not a secret, and everyone can track that we're running on the Salesforce platform. So that's the Commerce Cloud, Marketing Cloud, Service Cloud environments that we've implemented. There are some smaller, interesting companies to mention, maybe to give a shout out to an Israeli company we're working with in this forum, Sizer, the computer vision company that helps us to provide a application for consumers where they can determine the best fit of a product by scanning themselves, and then having an AI to calculate the volumetric data and recommend the best product size. There are many more, but I'm going to give some opportunity to the others as well.
Yeah, maybe from a European perspective, if you're looking for a solution which has sovereign, I can recommend Aleph Alpha, which is kind of the German OpenAI, which really delivers open source generative AI, which has not any kind of login to the big hyperscalers or companies outside of Europe. which is, especially if you have to take care of GDPR, a very important topic.
So as I think like for Gen AI, we have a very strong partnership with Microsoft. So that answers the question. What are the different tools we're using? We are experimenting also with some of the open source Gen AI tools. And I know they're all evolving. So I think keeping the pulse on it and really seeing who is up to what, it's important because, everyone releases something new and you can get some new opportunities, especially when it comes to Gen AI. In terms of other different technologies, we did, as I mentioned, we did acquire some of the technology in the past, being it in NLP space or virtual try-on. These are the solutions that we pursued through acquisition.
A couple things. One, Yaron, thanks for calling out Sizer. I'm an advisor and investor there. Thank you. Appreciate the plug. I'm also seeing out there a couple of platforms. One's an Israeli platform called Sight. I think they're a sponsor today. They also compete with another company called Lily AI. And these companies provide tagging for you. Instead of having your employees meta tag product, they're adding up to 20 tags per item, which improves the search experience online, which is critically important. And we touched on that. Other companies are really helping in the AI space by completing the look, whether it's companies like Stylytics or Find Mine, that once the customer finds the item, they can put a complete look together, or AI puts the look together through generative AI. And then there are other tools out there on the design side. You take a look at a Mid-Journey that works with many designers, or smaller companies like Raspberry AI. These tools help designers iterate designs more quickly, do sample costs, and increase speed to market. So just a couple of areas that I'm seeing that are also very one critical topic, and we can touch on this as we move towards the close. Jobs have been a big concern around AI. Will jobs be eliminated? One of my jobs is I'm a podcast host, hoping that my job will be eliminated by either a deep fake or someone that does it better. So you can check out my podcast on the Retail Pilot. I generally talk to lots of CEOs to hear what's happening. But I'm curious at your companies what the concern is around jobs and AI. And Mirko, let me start with you. Are there concerns within your company about AI replacing headcount?
From my perspective, not really. I mean, there will be a change in roles of the employees, obviously. So people will take over other roles, other responsibility, other tasks in the future. But if you look at the shortage of labor in most European countries and also in the US, I'm not afraid that people are afraid of getting replaced. It's, as I said, they only have to be open for the new technology and be willing to educate themselves and to do upskilling.
Yaron, how about you? Are you saving headcount or are you adding headcount with AI?
But it's not related really to AI. I think an important point that Yael raised in her opening remarks, and also you mentioned a couple of companies working in that field, is that AI is very good in some things and is not so good in other things. When it comes to fixed rule environments, AI is a very strong tool, right? That helps us with mobility, self-driving cars, medical diagnostics, and so on. It also helps us to operate in design or tagging spaces when it comes to closed rule environment. But so far, AI cannot create and it cannot understand the meaning of anything that it does. And with such, I would almost suggest that instead of calling it artificial intelligence, it should be called augmented intelligence, because it can help us to free up mental capacity to think about things that humans can do that machines can't. And that will help our designers to spend more time about creative thinking rather than iterating different designs, which the machine can do. It will help salespeople to think about future strategies rather than spending time and tagging data and manually entering it, and so on. So while it will make us more efficient, and it's already doing so, it doesn't impact headcount negatively. If anything, it will drive further revenue opportunities that could potentially help us to grow the workforce.
Well, that's good news for those looking for jobs and wanting to keep them as well. Jan, I'm going to end this conversation with you. What's the next big idea, the big AI idea that you're most excited about that we'll see from Walmart?
I would say that I'm excited to see what's going to happen to the customer. I think you see some of the recent releases like Overview from Google that may completely change how customers shop. And I'm excited to see how soon and how fast it may happen. Will customers come to retailers with those searches of their needs and shop in one place? Or would they start relying more on Google to understand products better and only then make their choices for where to shop? I think some of these trends will really define where many of us will invest. And those developments are really excited to watch. I would say that from our perspective, we continue doubling down on understanding our customers, understanding what is the job they're here to do with us every time they land on our side, and making that journey really exciting for them and matching them with the right products. That's coming to, again, to search, personalization, evolving our recommender systems with the recent technology that we have available, using more and more Gen AI. I think some of the solutions that you called out point out to the problems that are there across the industry. I think everyone is trying to understand how we can make our item understanding, catalog understanding better. So we'll continue investing in that too, and matching the products that we have and the assortment that we have with our customer needs in a completely new and exciting ways, because technologies like Gen AI really help us understand these relationships between customers and products in a completely new and exciting way.
I want to thank the panel today for sharing with us what's happening at their companies with AI. Very exciting space. We didn't even really get to touch on how marketing is really being used to reach out to the customer, but plenty is happening around that space, from image creation to AI-assisted online avatars, which I'm starting to see as well. But thank you all. I wish you good luck, and hope to see everybody soon, maybe next time in person.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ken, and thank you, Mirko, Jana, and Yaron. And Yaron, I'm going to take you up on that augmented intelligence. I think that's going to be a really good phrase to use. So with that, I'm happy to move on to our first keynote for today.
Okay, thank you so much. So hi, everybody. Super excited and happy to be here. I'm Tomer Zucker. I'm the VP Marketing of DID. And today we are going to talk about how avatars and AI agents can do magic with the retail industry. This is, I think, a great follow-up to the fantastic panel that we just had. And let's start. It's going to be super speedy. Okay, let's move on, please. Okay, so this guy is not, I would say, is not really happy. And the reason for that is, despite a significant advancement in the call centers and email correspondences and automated response system, customer satisfaction remains elusive. And these innovations have certainly streamlined basic interaction, but have yet to replace the genuine attention and empathy of human assistant. Now, the issue is that humans are a luxury product, I would say, and there is a shortage in skilled personnel in general, and mainly in the retail industry for many reasons. If we are going furthermore, we can see that the data is not lying. If we can move to the next slide, please. 79% of customers would switch to a competitor if they provided a better customer experience. So customer experience is really crucial. And not only that, 51% believe that the importance of customer service outweighs the price tag. And if we are looking down the numbers, we can see that $75 billion. This is the annual losses due to a poor customer service only in the States. So we are talking about a gap between customer expectations and a huge investment in customer experience system. There is a huge gap. But happily for us, and this is really good news, that these challenges is not hopeless, I would say, thanks to the growing capabilities of today cutting-edge technology, of course, generative AI. And if we will zooming out and look on the market, we can see that there has been a huge shift during the last year and a half. If we can move on, please. And AI as a domain have penetrated to the masses. We have seen a shift from the analysis world of the people that are expert in the foundation of AI. Guys, can you please move on the slides? Thank you so much. From the analysis world of AI, NLP experts, and all the foundation layers of AI, which we are talking about that for decades, into the creation world. And this is the shift that this industry have been experiencing since, I would say, the launch of ChatGPT in late November 2022. Now, with the creation phase, what we have done is lowering the bar and allowing more and more businesses, including retailers, to benefit from the power of AI and gain a lot of benefits in terms of cost reductions, in terms of time to market, in terms of scale, and others. But there are 2 points that we need to consider. First one, all the LLMs, or most of the LLMs, the large learning models, which are the AI foundation, like GPT or Llama with other models, are only text and voice. This is one point. And the second point, and this is very important, is that humans are hardwired to interact face-to-face. So we have 2 points that lead us to, I would say, conclusion, or to this insights that people buy, learn, engage better with humans. This is their preferences, but we have this shortage of humans that I mentioned. We know that video is a very engaging format, but video is very expensive and complex to produce. Faces, human faces, in terms of conversion rate, works much better than objects and other still images. But you need to choose the right presenters. So with these assumptions, these insights, DID, and this is the company I'm the VP marketing of, created a new set of AI avatars that can help retailers and e-commerce and any kind of business to close the gap. So let's spend 1 minute to see what DID does. Sorry.
In a world increasingly connected by technology, DID is shaping a future where digital interactions are as human as we are.
We are DID, pioneers in creative reality. Our API, Creative Reality Studio, and real-time interactive agents empower companies, developers, and content creators to build with generative AI. Capable of generating videos in 120 languages, creating high-quality videos from still images, and rendering at 100 FPS, the world's first to enable live streaming. With over 150 million videos created, a new studio sign-up every 3 seconds, and 250,000 API keys generated by developers, we're making digital interactions more engaging and human for millions of users around the world. From customer experience to education, from marketing departments and production agencies to healthcare providers, DID is opening up a world of possibilities. Let's shape the future of digital interaction together.
So this is what DID does, and we do that across the globe. We have, as you saw in the video, more than 150 millions of digital peoples, avatars, that helping customers, businesses, content creators to create new form of content. Avatars are really great, but we have learned something more interesting. This is only one example of research that examined the interaction between human beings and technology. This report or research review over 100 of existing neuroimagining research by the Maastricht University in the Netherlands, and they found that expressions and emotions in human-like avatars can be perceived similarly to human emotions, with corresponding behavioral, psychological, and neural activations. In other words, when interacting with digital humans, people feel and react as if they were interacting with real human beings, although they know they interact with synthetic media. And without understanding, we have shaped a new form of avatars. We call it Avatar 2.0, or in their formal name, agents. If we can move on, please. So the new type of avatars are hyper-realistic, so they look and sound like real humans in terms of audio and video. They have low latency, so they can react quickly. They can converse in real time with the shopper, for instance. They are smart and competent. They are grounded in terms of the LLM. And so in addition to that, they have the ability to sense emotions, to sense what the other person is feeling and react accordingly. And with that, we create, again, a new format. This is something that is really groundbreaking. We launched it 2 months ago. We call it DID agents. And let's see what these avatar DID agents can do.
Business owners, ever wish you could be everywhere? Talk to all your customers all at once? Introducing Agent, the generative AI digital person from DID Creative Reality Studio. Service providers, influencers, sales representatives, everyone multiplied. Endless interactions, infinite engagement, increased conversions, scalable support. Meet your customers, followers, buyers, stakeholders, where they are, in their language.
Person to persona.
Face to face. That's natural user interface. Communicate, convert, assist, and share. Real easy to get started. Choose a face or make your own. Train them on your data, add them to your website, and watch it go.
I know Kung Fu now. Fight!
Everywhere, all the time, all at once. Agents by DID.
So these agents are able to interact in real time with the other side. Other side can be customers, can be shoppers, can be prospects, can be your employees, can be partners, whatever you want. And it's up to the human imagination. So I share with here in this slide only 9 use cases, and you can think about many more use cases when you can benefit for this type of avatar, this type of agents for the retails. For instance, a personalized shopping assistant. Think about conversational AI avatar that can act as a personal shopping assistant, helping customers find products based on their own preferences and previous purchases. They can offer recommendation, answer questions, and even assist in making purchases directly within the chat interface. Think about customer support and service. This is a huge constraints. Deploy AI avatar for 24/7 customer support, handling inquiries about product details, offer status, return policies, and more. They can provide quick, accurate responses and escalate complex issue to human agents when necessary. Think about onboarding. Think about tutorial. So you got it at this stage. It's up to your imagination. We provide the building blocks, we provide the agents, we provide API that can be integrated into your line of business, into your catalogs, into your ERP and CRM systems, and then you have end-to-end solution of avatars and agents that can interact with your customers. One example for that, if we can move to the next slide, is an example. Another click, please. Another example of agent that has been embedded on a website. In this example, it's the IDEA website. But this avatar, his name is Dan, was trained on DID website, and he can converse using his own voice with their visitors on our website using their own voice. So the interaction is very natural. We call it natural user interface. And Dan can help our visitors to get to know better DID. And I would like to end with some additional data. And the next slides reflect the reality. So up to 45% of the retailers, if you can move to the next slide, please, up to 45% of the retailers will adopt Gen AI by the end of 2025. And you can think about all those use cases, many more, that you can benefit from Gen AI in order to create a new form of customer interactions, a new way to communicate your brand and create more sales and higher customer satisfaction. And with that, I would like to thank you for your attendance, and I hope it was interesting and compelling for you. Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Deanne Campbell, and with AAG Consulting. And in this panel, we're going to be diving into the rewards and the challenges of how generative AI can impact your operational excellence. And I am honored to be here with three illustrious industry leaders who have deep expertise in the subject matter. So this is going to be a really interesting conversation. Yair Adato is the co-founder and CEO of Bria AI. Or Hanieri is Global Tech Innovation Director for Procter & Gamble. And we have Ohad Elzur. He is Store Promotion Technology Director at A.S. Watson Group. So welcome, gentlemen. I'm going to dive in. We have a limited amount of time. Or as Technology Innovation Director, what initiatives are you leading on behalf of Procter & Gamble in the AI field?
Sure. So first of all, pleasure to be here, and thanks you for inviting me. In general, the role of our group is basically to work with the different groups within P&G, the different business units, understand their challenges, and then engage externally to basically find the best solutions out there, to assess their capabilities, conduct both the business due diligence and the tech due diligence, and provide back our recommendations back to the teams. This involves many different areas, obviously AI being one of the main ones.
And Ohad, what are you working on with the A.S. Watson Group? And what is A.S. Watson doing in the AI field?
We're doing a lot on AI on all angles. In my part, which is mainly the store technology, we're looking into use cases for AI for store operations.
Fantastic. And Yair, how is Bria AI serving up the AI and generative AI space on behalf of your clients?
So, hi everyone. Bria has a platform for generative AI, which is responsible, legal. There is no risk of copyright, trademarks, and other to use it, which is very important, obviously, to retailers and CPGs. We can talk later of how we're going to do that. And it's open, so they can integrate it into their existing processes and tools that they have today. They don't need to switch to a different application.
Fantastic. Well, let's focus for a moment on some of the benefits of AI and generative AI in operations. Of course, AI is in the spotlight across every industry sector these days, especially for operational functions that drive profit margins. Retailers and other customer-driven businesses are looking for different types of AI for data analysis, demand forecasting, and more. So let's, Yair, let's start with you right now. What do you see as some of the biggest benefits that AI can bring to business operations?
So this is a great question. And, we're working with several type of clients, from the advertising agency, the CPGs, the retailers, and even media. So we have a wide perspective of how different industries progress into this world of generative AI. And we are in the area of visual, so it's a little bit different than chat and the text, etc. What we see is that companies started to think about visual creation in a more systematic, automatic, control way, hyper-personalization of the content, much more focus to generate precise value from the visual. In a way, what we see is that companies are starting to rethink about how they generate content in general.
And do you see a change in consumer behavior when they are on the receiving end of this hyper-personalized experience?
I think that this is why we started with marketing from the beginning, because you want to adjust the story to the person. There is a curve to learn how to do it in the right way. But yes, we definitely see the benefit of that. We see campaigns that without generative AI would not be happen because there was no ROI for them. And now with generative AI, there is. A famous car manufacturer has a campaign for his car on a ski resort. None of the car or the ski was real. And that was, of course, very significant for them.
Fantastic. Or how is Procter & Gamble using or planning to use AI to really impact their operations? And what kind of outcomes are you hoping to achieve?
Yeah, I would say, first and foremost, innovation is part of our DNA, and we really use AI pervasively across all areas of our business to solve many challenges, to take a lot of business opportunities using machine learning and optimization. Really, to be honest, AI is embedded in everything that we do, and it's also embedded increasingly in our products. I can give you maybe one practical example of how we did this. So basically in the CPG, in the consumer packaged good industry, we have this challenge sometimes when you switch from one product to another. We call that, the phase in, phase out of a product. And the challenge that we need to avoid ending up with out of stock of the new SKU, but also at the same time to avoid scraping of the old SKU. So what we did is we were using mixed integer linear programming to basically model the levels of inventory in the stores that we needed during this switch of phase in, phase out. And based of that, and by using data from our production plan, from demand, also from different type of ingredients and components based on the bill of materials, the result is that now we're using AI for, I would say, more than 65% of our product changes, and that delivers in excess of $60 million savings a year, again, thanks to AI. Wow. Maybe one more example that I can share is that we've integrated massive amounts of detergent formulas into our data lake. And we basically built algorithms to model the effect of changing the different ingredients. This basically allows us to achieve alternative formulas at a much greater speed.
And do you integrate customer feedback in real time, or is there how do you integrate customer feedback into that formula creation?
Yeah, so obviously consumer feedback, for P&G, the customers are the retailers, but the end consumers' feedback is obviously very important to us. And yes, all I can say is that we do use AI tools to also embed those that feedback from our consumers.
That's fantastic. Ohad, how is A.S. Watson leveraging AI in their store or online operations? Are you finding also that it's able to help you link your online and offline channels a little more deeply, or what is A.S. Watson doing?
Yeah, thanks for the question. So we started with AI at the back office, so for headquarter users. And now we want to take it into the stores, and we have more than 130,000 employees worldwide. So any improvement will be quite significant to our P&L, as you can imagine. And we have several use cases we are looking into. So from the first, utilizing ChatGPT or LLM, such that employee can ask a question and, the virtual friend will answer instead of looking into store manual, how to do certain things. So very straightforward, or sounds very simplistic, but it will save a lot of time. especially for Gen Z who don't really bother to read anything. So this can help them to just ask a question and get a reply, or the engine will direct them to exactly the right point in the manual where they can understand what they need to do. We are also looking at helping store managers to reach their KPIs with AI. So instead of today, I show you more or less what you didn't achieve, or you need to look into data to understand, oh, I'm missing, I don't know, I didn't sell enough skincare this month and so on, to actually bring that to much more on-the-spot recommendation where AI can actually say, hey, not just to say you are behind, but to say, we think that if you focus on these and these products today, you can meet your target. That's another use case. And another one we're working on is shrinkage, which everyone knows is quite a big problem in retail. We have a solution today, but the solution is offline based, meaning we, after a few days, we can catch all kind of fraud related activities, and we want to bring that to near real time. And we have already, well, I think quite a good idea how to do that.
Wow, that's fantastic. I know a lot of retailers will be looking to take some of your ideas and implement them. Excuse me.
I'm sure.
And kind of, you mentioned employees, the number, you have 130,000 employees. And so I want to sort of throw a question over to Or at P&G. Is there a concern among your workers on how AI might impact their jobs? I mean, a lot of people are worried about this. How do you see the role of human employees evolving as AI grows?
Yeah, I think for us, it's actually the contrary. So our employees are very much looking forward to leveraging AI more and more. Specifically for Gen AI, we've launched our internal, we call it Chat PG, internal version of Gen AI. We've launched it last September. We already have more than 30,000 daily active users, and more than, I think, 2.5 million prompts so far. And I think, you know, as we integrate AI more deeply into our operations at P&G, I mean, certain skills will definitely become particularly valuable, right? So, you know, digital literacy, for one, will be vital. And while not everyone needs to be, you know, an AI developer, I think basic understandings of AI and how it can be leveraged is really essential. You know, data interpretation skills also will be important, since, you know, AI provides valuable insights that our teams need to understand and act upon. You know, soft skills such as problem solving, creativity, emotional intelligence, these will all remain critical and basically unreplaceable. And I think that even with AI, the human element is what truly makes the difference in understanding consumer needs and delivering high quality products.
Yeah.
And maybe finally, you know, the adaptability and the willingness to learn, that will be key, because as we've all seen, we've seen really unprecedented rate of changes in the technology in the past, I would say, year, and it's really every day feels like a year in past times. And the landscape of AI and technology continue to evolve rapidly. So I think being curious and having this mindset of long life learning is really essential.
Yeah, yeah. You know, there's a secret side of you, or that people don't know about. You host a podcast in Israel called The Digital Transformers. And I know you do a summary every year of your learnings from the people, the experts that you have on your podcast. Do you have any insights around AI that you've learned from some of your past season's guests?
Let's see. I think everyone understands how crucial it is, and I think everyone is eager to implement it in their companies. To be honest, I was expecting to hear some people a bit afraid or concerned that it would end up replacing them. I think Ken mentioned it in the previous panel. But to be honest, I was very, I would say, pleasantly surprised to see the approach of the different people and the different innovation leaders. We are all embracing AI and technology. I think that's the only way to move forward.
That's actually good news. Your company focuses on data ethics, and that's another probably equally big topic in AI. Can you tell me a little bit about what you're doing around data gathering, avoiding copyright infringement, and creating safe spaces for the use of AI in companies?
Yeah, sure. I will start by echoing Or. Maybe a year ago, there was a moment that we are all going to die. AI is coming, going to replace us. And now we understand that it's just a tool, it's just a technology that we are all going to use. And I super agree with Or about the fact that we just need to continue to learn how does it impact us. But while we are doing that, we also need to consider how it's going to impact our society and how to do that in a responsible way. So in 5 years from today or 10 years from today, we say, that was not the right thing to do, or we should do that differently. And when we started Bria 4.5 years ago, we said that we're going to be open and responsible AI platform. Open because probably Ohad and Or will need to use that as part of their what to do. And responsible because this is the right thing to do. And if you don't want to do it because it's the right thing to do, you just don't want to have risk when you implement AI. So what we do, we copy. We did something that you're all familiar with. We did Spotify. We said that we had the same issue of copyrights 20 years ago with the music streaming. Started with Napster and Pirate Bay, but it didn't last. And then comes Spotify. So we did the same. We developed an attribution engine. Every time that we generate an image or our client generate an image, we know how to trace back in the training set the exact visual which contribute to this generation. It might be 20 images, it might be 50 images, it might be 100. And we will pay attribution for this data owner. So in a way, we license the generative AI for you behind the scene with our models that we develop from scratch. And with this attribution engine, we have a contract with Getty Images and Shutterstock and Alamy and the Deposit Photo and most of the stock provider that you're familiar with. They all give us their catalog for training. So we are safe. We have back-to-back agreement with them. I will say one last thing. It's not only risk, it's not only safe in terms of copyrighted trademark and high quality because the data was like high quality. It's also, it doesn't include famous people. You cannot generate Bibi, Trump or Biden because it was not there. It's very, we think, responsible to use.
That's good to hear. We're running short on time. I think we're running out of time, but Ohad, I wanted to ask you a couple of things. One is, your company hosts a hackathon every year, which I find fascinating. And this year, I think it was in April in Amsterdam, and it talks about the future of AI in retail and the future of retail in general. Did anything interesting come out of that surprised you?
I think, the first thing that surprised us was the number of subscribers. We were really afraid we won't have enough teams competing, and we ended up needing to filter. And I think this reflects very well this discussion so far, that, the growing community of AI is just amazing how fast it goes. Definitely going to shape the industry going forward. And that was for us part of the goals in doing this hackathon, just to, also to, of course, obviously get connected with the next talents, see who we want to recruit maybe, or ideas that we want to blend into our architecture landscape. Overall, very successful event and, again, beyond expectations for us.
Wow. Well, to squeeze one quick question out of you, Ohad, since AS Watson is just beginning to launch AI in their stores. If you are a company that has yet to kind of dip their toe in the water, do you have any recommendations or advice on where to start, a good starting point for something that can be very overwhelming for any company?
I think start with two things. First, data. If you don't have good data that you can stand behind and really understand, forget about AI. Data is the foundation. So data cleansing and so on. Any retailer that haven't done that yet, I would say that's definitely the first step to start. And second, it's overwhelming. There are so many companies, so many directions. I would say pinpoint your key 3 problems you want to solve and start with these ones.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much, everyone. And this has been fascinating. I wish we had 20 more minutes. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Cool. Okay, thank you. So I'm Adi. I'm leading the AI and engineering side, Israeli side for Flipkart. I'm also a VP engineering corporate level. I'm glad. It's great to be here. And I'll be glad to use the next 10 minutes or so to share with you a bit about what Flipkart is doing around the AI, and more specifically, what is the work that is being done in the Israeli side. And also, I would be glad to tell you about Flipkart Lip, which is a great program allowing startups to partner with this retail giant. So let's start, and let's start with a few words about Flipkart. So Flipkart is one of the leading and biggest e-commerce companies in the world, operating in India. Flipkart was acquired by Walmart 3 years ago for the evaluation of $18 billion, and is aiming for an IPO in the next years, one of the most promising IPOs in this world. It has more than 200 million active users, with more than 1 billion annual transactions, more than 1 million seller base. It's not just about e-commerce. Flipkart, there's also Flipkart Travel, Flipkart Healthcare, Flipkart FinTech. So it's a real huge company, and still growing very fast, like the entire Indian market. Flipkart is doing a lot of work around AI and data science in many different domains, starting from discovery, optimizing search and recommendation for its users through AI, merchandising and ads, optimizing user acquisition and retention, of course, analyzing user insights. A lot of back-end work in AI around pricing and planning, which is what we do here in the Israeli side, and I'll talk about it a bit more. Of course, everything that has to do with fraud detection, customer experience, selection, and competitor intelligence. So a lot of different domains are using AI and data science. Let's maybe dive into the work that is done here on the Israeli side. Let's move to the next slide. So a few words about the IL side, Innovation and Excellence Engineering Center. Our focus is indeed on AI, ML, algorithmic research, and analytics solution. The site was established 6 years ago based on the acquisition of upstream local startup by Flipkart, and we manage around 80 employees. And one of our main focus is indeed the AI solution, AI and optimization solution for pricing. So we saw a lot of cool things in the previous lectures about avatars and other things AI and Gen AI is being used for. But this is a more maybe technical example of something that is done using AI, which is not necessarily for pure customer experience, but it's something that there's no other way really to achieve it. And pricing in an ideal world maybe can be simple. You take the inputs, you compute the right prices and offer, you go live with them, then you measure performance and take steps to continuously optimize. But in the real world, with millions of products and hundreds of millions of users and ever-changing inputs, it's becoming very chaotic. Let's move to the next slide. So when we're talking about inputs, for example, for how to do automated pricing or AI-based pricing, so you have so many different inputs to take into consideration, starting from cost and inventory and what is the competition doing right now for these products, and what is the traffic these days in compared to other days, and do we have any support from the brands, and what are the GMV and contribution margin goals. And then when you compute the prices and offers, you need to take into consideration if this is a usual business day or this is a sales event. And what about new launches? And how many price changes you want to do? And so on and so forth. This is an endless range of considerations and constraints you need to take into account when you do pricing, because, again, millions of different products at any given time. In order to do that, we have built a very complex solution, which is combined of an AI prediction model, which tries to predict what will be the demand for each product based on different price points that we can offer to the user, and take into consideration other features like traffic and different discounts. And after we are trying to predict what would be the demand for each one of these available price points, then the second step is an optimization problem, where we try to optimize this entire solution so we can achieve our goals. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. So what we actually see here is an analysis of a week-long sales event, which was done in March for one of the categories. And it's important to understand that the AI system for pricing has multiple goals. For example, we don't want to do too many price changes, but the main two goals that this analysis is focusing on is, from one hand, to achieve the GMV for the event, and from the other end, to keep the margins. Okay, so the GMV goal is represented by the green light there, and the blue area is the actual accumulated GMV. And we need the system to make sure that the actual accumulated GMV is reaching its green target. And from the other end, we have the margin goal, which is represented by the orange line, and we have the actual margin during the event, which is represented by the red line here. So what you can clearly see is that how the system needs to price more than 30K products in this case, make sure that the accumulated actual blue area of GMV reaches its target from one end. And from the other end, you can see that the red curve, which is representing the actual margin, is chasing the orange curve to make sure that the balance between GMV and gross margin are met. So this is the complexity of automation, of pricing automation, which is done through a very complex AI and optimization solution. Let's move on to the next slide. So I'll wrap up by just introducing very shortly the Flipkart Leap program. The Flipkart Leap is a program that is allowing startups to partner with this retail giant. And the next cohort of this Flipkart Leap is going to be focused on the Israeli ecosystem. We are looking for innovative e-commerce and retail solutions for shopping experience, content, ads, video, market intelligence, supply chains, and more emerging technologies like Gen AI and blockchain. Let's move to the next slide. We are looking for companies which are either early stage companies in a POC maturity of product, which want to use Flipkart as a design partner to test and deploy the solution in a Flipkart scale, but also for mature companies that just like to have Flipkart as a customer. In terms of timeline, let's go to the last slide. We are now doing the first round of screening for these companies. Later, we will have a pitch day in the third week of July where senior leaders for Flipkart will come to Israel. And for those companies which will be chosen, we will finalize partnership and kick off POC during August and October. So you are more than welcome to approach us and take part in this wonderful opportunity. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Adi, and thank you to all of our amazing speakers today. We're so grateful to have you with us and to learn so much from your experience. This concludes the first part of our event today. So if you've only registered for the first part, we thank you for joining us today and wish you a great rest of your day. Brands, retailers, and sponsors are welcome to stay for part 2 and part 3 of the event.